Yes, we are live.
Brilliant.
We don't give it much, we'll give it a few minutes and then we just kind of kick off because.
Yeah, sure.
I think that's is that your speaker, Al?
I'm just going to switch it off.
Yeah.
That's it. And I need this.
Okay, we're good.
They've gone to a new Facebook thing, haven't they? Cool. All right, I'll see it from then and I'll switch it.
Okay, looks good on my side.
Nice cup of tea.
Where are you based?
Canby Island.
Canby Island.
Yeah, Canby Island, yeah. It's near Southend.
Oh, nice.
Just by the Thames estuary, as it just comes out from the Thames into the sea, basically.
Where, are you originally from London or are you London?
Yeah, I'm East London, yeah. East London, yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, right.
Oh yeah, Amma's supporter.
Yeah, for my sins, yeah. I had no choice in that.
Yeah. It often comes pressure, family pressure.
That's it, yeah.
Oh, hey, Yasser. Hey, Dave. Now we've got people joining. That's nice. Do you still make it? Do you make it back to London at all? You got family out
I work in London. I work in the Underground, so.
Oh, nice.
It's nice, yeah. 5 days a week.
Is it quieter these days, or is it still a bit?
It was quiet. It was very dead. It's starting to pick up now, but it was like going down.
Yeah.
On the pandemic, you go through Trafalgar Square. There's no one down.
Yeah, it's like a horror movie, is it?
It is, yeah. It makes a lot of zombies coming out from you.
Yeah, 28 days later.
No. Okay. Welcome everyone. Hey, Steve.
Oh yeah. Hi Dave. Hi Steve. Hi Yasser.
We won't be long. We'll give it a couple more minutes and
Yeah, sure.
have people join in and
Luigi just said go, Stephen. Luigi Zanini.
Okay, right, yeah.
So you know.
What are you?
Go, Stephen. Go, Stephen. Yeah, I'm all good, Nish.
all right, let's do it, mate.
Okay. Welcome, Steve. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome everyone on Facebook. I'm sure other people are going to be joining shortly. Hi, Phil. Phil Morrell just says hello.
Hi, Phil.
Yeah, so I'd just like to introduce Stephen Wooster, Sifu Stephen Wooster, who has trained in judo and karate from a very young age. Just brief history. Around 718, he met his Tai Chi Chuan instructor, Sifu Docherty. He represented his teacher in full contact fighting and push hands competitions. And he helped teach at Sifu Docherty's class from an early age and has run his own classes throughout Essex and has taught abroad as well. Currently teaching now in Canby Island.
Canby Island, that's it, yeah. Canby Island, yeah.
So, without much further ado, we'll just say again, welcome, Steve. Thanks for joining
Thanks,
us,
guys.
and we'll take it from here.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you for joining, and thank you for agreeing to do this, and sharing with the Southern Praying Mantis group. So our first question is, tell us about you. I mean, how did you, even before Tai Chi, how did you get into martial arts?
Right, okay. My first recollection, I was probably about the age of 5 or 6. I was at my grandfather's house, and my uncle trained karate. He trained with Tigger Donovan.
Oh, yeah?
Ishimaru, yeah. And I was in the back, let's have 2 rooms, the front room and the back room. So I was in the back room with my uncle, had a mirror, and he put me on a chair, and he started showing me a karate punch, turn this way, turn the fist, turn over. And it was quite interesting. It was quite hard to do as well. So I liked that, but obviously I couldn't get to the class because I lived away from my granddad. I lived at Upton Park.
Yeah.
So, that was the first time I've done, a bit of training, if you like, yeah. Then I remember the times of, everybody was kung fu fighting, Cole Douglas.
Cole Douglas, yeah, legend.
Birthday party, and it was playing, everyone was jumping around.
Proper legend.
Kicks and punches and that. And then I actually moved from Upton Park to Forest Gate. I had a few friends who were doing judo. Come down to the class and do some judo. So I remember going down to the class.
How old were you then, around that time?
I was about 7 or 8.
Okay.
Right.
We've done the judo down there, and I remember the techniques I learned. I learned Osotogari, Uchimata, Tomanagi.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. It was really good. And we also learned, I think it was Japanese scaffold, Kizukatami.
Kizukatami, yeah.
Kizukatami, yeah.
I remember doing that sort of stuff. And then the guy who used to live in the flats below me, he was one of the instructors. I remember him showing all the guys a thing called Tomanagi, where you roll on your back, put your foot on the stomach and flip them over your head.
That's it.
Right, I was like, wow, so in the James Bond films. Yeah, so I can't remember the actual time frame how long I did it for. And then I basically, I moved to where I live now, Canby Island. I moved down here and just kept on doing judo. But it was on a Sunday and it clashed. I started playing football as well. Doing judo as well. And it was good. I enjoyed it. But when we was doing a lot of the work, the actual sensei was like talking to us in Japanese, and I don't know what he was talking about. So the older guy down the floor, they say something to me. I'd look round and the guy would get out of it. And he'd go, I told you to hold him down. I said, yeah, but it's in Japanese, so I don't know what you mean. I was quite confused about that.
Yeah, especially at that young age.
Yeah, I mean, if he said to me, look, hold the guy down, I would have done it, but saying it in Japanese, I didn't have a clue what he was talking about. So I then started playing football. But the thing with football is it's a team sport. And, when you're playing a team sport, obviously it's that camaraderie and togetherness. But obviously, if someone makes a mistake in the team, they can blame someone else.
Yeah.
So, the midfielder didn't track back or the defender didn't get stuck in. So you can pass the blame on, right? But with martial arts, you can't blame no one. If you get a punch in the face, it's your fault. I can't blame the defender or the attacker. It's my fault for getting a punch in the face. Or if I get thrown to the ground, that's my fault. So I then stopped doing football. And around the time, it must have been about 1980 or 1981, I think that VHS came out. And my dad said to me, there's a guy called Bruce Lee. He's really good martial arts. He's a really good, fantastic fighter. So that sort of got my interest as well. And I remember being at school, and there's a guy that I'd met. We'd just gone to senior school. So all like strangers in the class and that. I met a kid there, and over the next few months, we had a fallout, and was going to fight. So I chased after him. But luckily for me, he was a fast runner. For me, I couldn't catch him. Anyway, after that, we got talking, and he did karate. So I said, come down to my class. Okay, I'll come to your class. Well, it was lucky I couldn't catch him because he was outstanding doing karate, yeah?
Yeah.
I started, there was 8 of us in the first class, and it got down to like 5, then 4, then 3, and then 1. I was the last one training. And I still see people to this day say to me, are you still training? And I say, yeah, I'm still training. And they go, I wish you didn't give it up. I wish I carried on. So I can say, well, I did carry on. I'm not doing it. So I remember in the class one day, I mean, it might have been 4 or 5 months, I'd learned some stuff on that. And the instructor said to me, you can now spar with this guy called Robert, or I chased after one day, who was too far for me. He was a black belt. I'm not sure if his Robert told him, but he got us to spar with each other. And I had no chance. He was throwing kicks and spinning kicks and jumping kicks, and he was swimming. So lucky for me, I couldn't catch him. part of him, so it was like actually, you know. So I then started doing karate. So I did Shakan karate for about 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. And then there was another stud in my area, in the Essex area. It's called Fudo Shin. It means a mind.
Yeah, Fedoshin. Yeah,
It's Robert Lawrence.
Yeah.
Okay. He was based in Camden, Southend. So he trained out in the Far East, and he did like Goju karate. He did Korean karate. He did Aikido. He done some jiu-jitsu, some kenjutsu, Koba jitsu, and mixed it in. So he's all like his own sort of style. I trained in there in this class in the Fudo Shin system, but the class wasn't that big. The Shotokan class, there was massive people, 20 people, 20 children in the actual class, yeah? But the Fudo Shin stuff, there was only 4 or 5. All the 4 or 5 could fight. Whereas in the Shotokan class, out of 20, only probably 2 or 3 could do it properly, yeah? The actual instructors, they was all like doormen. So they could actually, you know, walk the walk.
Yeah, make it work.
But the classes were hard. So I was about 14 at the time, but they put me into the adult class. Go training, and you do these blocking techniques and kicking techniques, and you come back with bruises up your arms and that. And you go train on a Monday, you get a black eye on a Monday, you go back on a Thursday, and you get a black eye over a black eye. But it was tough training, but it was also sort of mental training, because I had this sort of internal battle going on. I want to go to the class and get beaten up and get bashed up, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. But then the other sort of thing said, no, you've got to go to it, you've got to go to it. So it was a mind battle as well as a physical thing. It was a mind battle as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I carried on to the class, and so these guys could do it. They were good. And also I started learning the kenjutsu stuff, the sword stuff. I started learning the nunchaka and other stuff and that. And then of 17, 18, and I used to get the magazines, the combat magazines and all these different magazines and that.
Yeah.
And we used to go to Southend with my mates, and I've got a friend of a guy. He's actually from Laos. He was called, they called him in the days a boat person, but he was a refugee. He come across from Laos to Southend. So he showed a magazine. It was Bruce Lee on the magazine. So we started talking, and so he said, "Okay, do martial arts." I said, "Yeah, I do karate." He'd done some Thai boxing back out in Laos. So there was another guy in Southend. There was a reporter, a guy called Andrew Davis, who wrote for Fighters Magazine in Combat. So there's a guy who can start teaching in Southend, a guy called Dan Docherty, who was my teacher, my Tai Chi teacher. Started teaching in a local hall in Southend, which was about 12 miles from me. So I'd heard that he was a chief inspector in the Royal Hong Kong Police Force, and also he was a 1980 Southeast Asian full contact champion. Yeah. Okay. But I'd not seen Tai Chi as a martial art. I'd seen Tai Chi on the likes of, remember the BBC series, Warrior Warrior?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tai Chi on there with a guy called Hong Kis-yang, with Tai Chi, Bar Gua and Xing Yi. So I'd seen it on there, but I didn't know it as a martial art. And there was a famous karate sensei, died recently, a guy called Hirokazu Kanazawa, who was affiliated to the SKI. He died a few months ago. But he did Tai Chi as well.
Interesting.
Sorry?
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah. So he'd done such things, but I was from the guys I trained with, I was like staunch Japanese martial arts. It was drummed in. Japanese martial arts are the best, you can't beat it. So I wasn't looking for the Tai Chi side, like the martial arts side of it. I was looking for the health side of it. And then I read a book by a guy called C.W. Nicole. It was called Moving Zen. And he's a guy that went to Japan and trained in karate in Japan. And while he was out there, he stayed with a guy called Don Drager.
Yeah.
Martial art books and done a lot of stuff on. He's got a book of Penjak, Silat, and different.
And Phoenix Eye Fist.
That's right, yeah.
With someone else.
Drinking water, he's making noise, sorry. Laughing away. Yeah, so he mentioned it in this book, Moving Zen, about Tai Chi. And he was in this, all the martial artists live in the same building. They shared this flat in Japan. And he was in bed one day, and he heard this like building shaking. And he wondered what it was. He looked out, and they said in the book it was a Mr. Wang. And we think it was actually Hong Kis-yang. It was a guy called Wang Shu-jin, who trained out in Japan as well. And so this C.W. Nicol, he asked the head of karate about Tai Chi. And he said, basically karate might be for men and Tai Chi's for like supermen. Do you know what I mean? So like he's making this building vibrator now. So that made me think about Tai Chi. And then so me and my friend went to Southend, and then I met my teacher, Dan Docherty. So we turned up on the first day, and again, just to learn the health side of it. I didn't know it was a martial art. I had no idea it was a martial art. But what I was going to do was learn the form, and then come away and carry on doing my karate. So I thought it would improve my karate itself.
Ah, interesting. So you were looking to learn Tai Chi for the health side, but also kind of inform your...
For my karate, to improve my karate,
Yeah.
So we went to the first class. There was me, my two friends. My friend, Chinese guy, he's of Hakka descent, He's from, originally his family's from Hong Kong. I'll tell you about that later on. They do they've got their own British style called Lee style boxing. It's very similar to Hung Gar. So we went to see my teacher, Dan Docherty. So we turned up there. When we walked in it's in the church hall. Walked in the church hall, and there was 4 or 5 people, and they were like sort of hippies. They had like wooden clogs on and flared track, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Wait, so how old were you then, Steve?
17. I was 17.
And you've been doing karate for a long time?
About 5 years, from about the age of 11, 12.
Right.
So about 6 years.
Yeah.
So I just got a first dan, a black belt first dan in karate, but that was a beginner's level,
Yeah.
So, we rocked up at this church hall, went and introduced ourselves to Mr. Docherty, and we started about Tai Chi. He said, "Oh yeah," he said, "Come along." So I couldn't come and train. I'd say 4 or 5 of them were just fight for the health side of it. 2 friends or 3 friends was learn the martial arts side. So he proceeded to show us what he called a 5-element arm, and it's a basic, blocking motion, doing 5 little movements and that, and explain what it was for. And it just made a load of sense to me. And he said, what it's for, basically, you only use one arm. You put one arm behind your back. He said, because it could be that you've had your arm cut, so you can't use your arm no more, or you're holding a baby, or you got, shopping in your hand. It was a police officer, and he said, we could have a notebook taking notes down. So you train with one arm to block with one arm, not using both arms. So that made sense to me. And then he started showing us other stuff on that, and then he proceeded to show us a thing we call freestyle pushing hands. So there's me and my 2 friends doing this pushing hands with him, and it's basically it's a fixed pattern drill, and you got to balance your opponent. So we tried it with him, and I must say that I skid across the floor, wooden polished floor, and I hit the piano, and I hit the chairs, and everything I did to him, it didn't work. So I tried my best, a lot of strength, and basically he was doing my strength against me. So I flew around this church hall. My 2 mates, they flew around the church hall as well. And I thought, this stuff's great. This guy's got some stuff. But I was still thinking, just do the health side of it,
Even after all that?
Even after all that, obviously I was sort of sweating to start doing it,
Yeah.
Like the next couple of weeks and that. So he said, okay, I said, I'll charge you 50 pence. He was like, what? 50p? He said, yeah, just come along. I realise now that he told me at a later stage that he needed to spread the art. Like a general needs captains, sergeants, lieutenants, corporals to promote it. So it was a 2-way thing. He needed us as much as we needed him,
Yeah.
We started training there and that. And then he was showing us other drills and that. And then he said, I'll show you a thing called Nei Gong, internal strength. I went, okay. So he walked over and he pulled a table out and he put a chair on the table and he got my friend Simon Lee. He said, okay, climb on the chair, on the table, on the chair and stand up. So you stand about 6 foot height. He laid on the floor and he said, on the count of 3, jump off onto his stomach.
Okay.
Are you sure? Yeah, you can do that. So, okay. My friend got up there, stood on the table, onto the chair. 1, 2, 3, jumps off, bang. And he took the impact, no problem at all.
I think I've seen pictures.
There are pictures, yeah. There are pictures of it. So, did it 3 times and he said, okay, right now, you do karate, you're black belt, show me your reverse punch, Kazuki. So, I stood there, I gave him my best shot, and it just bounced off him, and he had like sort of a smirk on his face. So I thought, yeah, this guy definitely got something. So we carried on training over the preceding years. He started showing us stuff, and obviously it was different to karate, but it made more sense for me at that time,
Yeah.
We carried on training. It was once a week at Southend. So he was coming from London all the way to Southend.
Oh, right, okay.
He was doing about like a 2.5 hour round journey.
Wow.
He was living at Elephant Castle. I forget actually.
South London,
Yeah, that way. Yeah. So he was coming from South London down to sunny Southend. And he was teaching for like 2 hours, and he wasn't making money out of it. And obviously, he was just doing it. He took a class over from another guy. So we thought, yeah, this stuff is fantastic. So we then heard that he was doing a class on a Saturday. So we said, can we come along to the class? They said, yeah, just come along. He said, I'll tell you what, I'll teach you spear. We're like, spear, really? Yeah, come along. So we went down to the class. And at the time, it was a place, it was called the London School of Dance and Self-Defence, which was at Elephant and Castle. Over that way. They had all different martial arts there. So they judo, taekwondo, ninjutsu, and tai chi as well. So we went to the class, and he started teaching us spear form as well. So he was learning the form, he was learning the hand form, he was learning applications, pushing hands, he was learning a weapon as well.
How long had you been training?
I've been training about 6 months then, 6 months.
Wow. Right.
Maybe a bit longer, I forget the time frame, but it must have been about 6-7 months, because then he said, oh, I've got my teacher coming over. He's coming over, like, I think about his second time coming over, because he'd already been teaching up in Edinburgh. Because our Tai Chi uncle Ian Cameron brought the art first over to the UK, but he taught it up in Scotland, yeah?
Right. Then, were you still doing karate at the time? Were you still training karate as well?
Right, I was well, up until when I started getting some more class, I'd stopped, but I had this dilemma, and the dilemma was that when I was practicing the hand form, I was sort of shaking from doing the actual hardstyle martial arts. Yeah. I can't relax. So
that was going to be my question. Like, I mean, you've gone to meet your Sifu, and he's like, okay, he's showing you a few techniques. You're like, okay, I'm interested. I want to learn more. So then, how did it progress for you over the next kind of 3 to 6 months? Because were you finding that, hey, I feel too stiff, or what, did you find the Tai Chi hard, or what did you start to learn? What was your first month of training like? Were you doing like forms? Were you doing drills?
Right. Yeah. So the class consisted of us doing. We start off doing a drill called 7 Star Step. It's a 2-person drill.
Right.
It's got a correlation of yin and yang. As one goes forward, one goes back. As one's pushing, one's diverting. It's like a warm-up exercise.
Right.
Evasion. He trains sidestepping, trying to get off the line, basically. So punching or kicking, we move off the line and come round, yeah?
Right. Yeah.
Using this theory of yin and yang, which I'll go into in a bit later on. Yeah. So the class consisted of that, the push and hands drill. Then we've done loads of applications, punching, kicking, sweeping, locking, throwing techniques, all different kinds of applications. So he taught us a lot of stuff quite quickly, quite soon.
So was that a surprise for you, learning?
It was a surprise, yeah.
Because you'd come in thinking, I need this for the health benefit, and I want to kind of, because your initial mindset was, I want to learn it for the health benefit, and then kind of use it to inform my karate. But you've gone there, and then you're learning it, and then you're learning drills, applications, and you're seeing the method he's using and how his Neigong has made him quite impervious to normal strikes.
Yeah, so basically, this door opened up, and it's like, wow, this stuff is fantastic.
Yeah.
Really good. But obviously, I'd also read that it takes you 20, 30 years to learn Tai Chi. And I'm like, well, not this class, you know. We're doing it from almost day one, you know.
Yeah.
So I then had this dilemma where I read this book I said about before, Moving Zen. Now, different martial arts. And it said in the actual one part, said, if you go rabbit hunting, can you chase one rabbit? You can't get different rabbits. You've got to go for one. So that's a martial arts. You've got to train in one art to get a good grounding. Yeah. Later on you can do other stuff, but you've got to try and focus on one thing first of all.
That's interesting. Yeah.
You can get a rabbit, learn how to catch that rabbit. It might take you a few years, bang, you get it, and then you can go on to the next one. But you can't get 2 rabbits at one time. Yeah. So I come to this dilemma of doing karate or doing the Tai Chi, and the stuff that he showed me made a lot more sense than the karate did. But again, this is no disrespect to karate. I was only an 18-year-old kid. Yeah. I only got to, beginner's level.
This is your story about your journey.
That's right. Yeah. So it's only what I thought at the time.
Yeah. That's fine.
So he was, showing us stuff from day one, and it was great stuff, and it made sense. So he got us doing stuff. We call it running thunderhand. You run and chase a pad in a circle, and he held a pad up. He said, "Okay, start punching." And you do it for like 2 minutes. So started running, and punching his pad, and I was really going for it. And but I was doing it in a karate manner where they do kimai. So after each, you tense the body up, and the idea behind it is that if you punch someone and miss them, and they hit you back, you can take the blow. Yeah. So I'm running around going, not breathing. And after about 30 seconds, I was blood out my backside. So to speak. He's running back with a big like smile on his face, and I'm like, oh, this stuff, you know. He said, no. She said, we don't base our breathing around our fight around breathing. We just breathe naturally. We base our fight around our breathing. So don't tense up, just relax. Yeah. All this stuff going on, it made sense to me. It made sense. I carried on doing it. So we started going to on a Saturday. Yeah. So we started going on a Saturday to London. Excuse me. Then we found out he had classes at Covent Garden. He had it on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So we started doing all the classes. Then he said,
so like, wait a minute, you pretty much do classes every day.
I now live in London.
That's it, yeah. I was working, but then I was working in London. So I was going straight to work, finishing work, jumping on a train. I was working at Borough High Street, straight on a train from Borough straight to Covent Garden. But I was like, I had that thirst for knowledge. I didn't want to miss nothing.
Yeah.
I even tell my students now, I'll be on a train going to Covent Garden, and there'd be a signal failure on the underground. I'm like, I've got to get to the class. I might miss something. I might miss a little gem, or so. I was always like trying to get to the class, but I didn't want to miss anything. I was that thirst for knowledge, you know.
Yeah.
Get going. So I was working in London, going straight to training, coming home, going to bed, getting up and doing it again. But he still had a class on a Thursday in Southend, so I was training like 3 or 4 times in London and then once at Southend. He said, okay, he's going to bring his teacher over from Hong Kong, like the Qigong, Jen Tin Hung. Going to bring him over, and do you want to come to the seminar? So he said, oh yeah, please. He says, okay, I won't charge you nothing for it. Like, really? Yeah, just come along, come to the seminar. So we went to the seminar. Me and my friend. Well, in fact, the other two friends stopped, but one guy carried on training. My mate Kev carried on training. So we went to the seminar, and obviously we met loads of different Tai Chi people there, and there were Wing Chun guys there and all different systems and that. But we started speaking to the Tai Chi people, and we said, "How long you train?" I mean, we've been training like 6 months at a time, 6 to 8 months. We speak to them and say, "How long have you been training?" Oh, "I've been training 5 years." "Okay, what have you learned in 5 years?" "Oh, I've learned a hand form and a single pushing hands drill." And we're like, "Is that it?" And like, yeah. It takes at least 10, 15, 20 years. We're like, not an ass of it, you know what I mean? It just seems so strange, but I think that some Tai Chi people have not got a complete system, so they just,
stretch it out.
Pad it out and stretch it out. Yeah, so it'd be like, this finger should be there, and that finger should be there, and that one.
Yeah.
It's a palm strike, right? But no, it should be this way. So I think they sort of pad it out. And we met these guys, and we was doing pushing hands with them, and they wasn't that good at doing this. And obviously, it's known in Tai Chi that pushing hands drill and that. And then we was moving around, pushing hands with people and that. And then like in groups, there's like 3 in a group or 4 in a group, and sort of like the winner stays on. So basically, you engage with someone, engage with a bridge, and you've got to try and off-balance them. And I'll come back to it more later on what it's for. But you off-balance someone, and then they lose, the next one comes on.
Yeah.
It's a fight at close quarters. It trains close quarter fighting, yeah? Okay. So it's called pushing hands, but the real name for it is Dashou, striking hands. It's really striking hands, yeah? But you build up to it. So you go from being stationary to then moving, to then wrestling, to punching, to then full contact fighting. So you increments, you build it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so he then took us to one side, and he brought this guy over. He said, okay, you 3 go in a group. So we're in a group, and we pushed down to this guy, and he was rubbish. No disrespect to him, but he had nothing. He was just very, very soft. Yeah. So me and my friend was young, 18 years old. We got stuck in 6 month training. Bang, we was like grappling, like in a fixed step. He had nothing at all. What he had was yin. He had extremely yin, very soft.
Very soft, yeah.
He couldn't deal with our power, and we wasn't good. We wasn't, we was like 6 months training, but we just had young aggression, and he couldn't deal with it. So obviously after that, we would change groups again, and then my teacher took us to one side. He said, "Oh, So that guy that you pushed down to, we said, yeah. So he's been training 20 years with a famous Tai Chi master. I won't say his name is, but he's been training 20 years with this famous Tai Chi master. We're like, what? 20 years? Not that good. So if you look at it at different martial arts, right? If you was doing 6 months of Western boxing,
yeah,
for 20 years, there's no way that the guy 20 years of boxing is going to walk over or judo or BJJ or anything.
Yeah.
With Tai Chi, it seemed that way for a lot of people. So
yeah,
the inside, but not the inside to it,
Yeah. Do you think that's because, like you said earlier, some people don't have it all? They don't know how to fight properly, or they know the theory of it, but have never ever scrapped themselves. So with the way they teach is all theoretical, it's all soft. There's a good question here. I mean, well, it ties into what we're talking about, but it's kind of for the future. But if we do this, and then we'll come back to what we're saying.
Okay.
It's Tony Willis. He says, "Hi, mate. How's things?"
Hi, Tony. You all right?
Yeah, he says, I send people over to you who are looking for Tai Chi as a martial art. Do you find it tough to break the barrier down of the public conception of Tai Chi as purely a health routine?
Yes. 100%.
Because you had that yourself.
Yeah. It's like, to explain, it's like when I explain to people, it's like this salmon in the river. You're going forwards and then you just go back. It's been portrayed in media, as basically a health
That's
aspect.
it, yeah.
It's not a martial art at all.
Yeah.
I've had people say to me, that come to my class, you do all full contact. And no, we don't, but we do the martial art side of it. But most people don't know it. So they spend 3 years, 5 years, 10 years just actually doing the health side, not the actual martial art side, which is good. But you can't just do the health side of it and expect to be able to defend yourself.
No, that's obvious.
It's like doing your Chow guard, just practicing the Sambo Jin, Don't put power into it. Don't learn what the applications are for. Right, and also they expect to be able to defend yourself in the street. Yeah. The thing is that it's also that it's not well known over here, and it's not well known in Hong Kong, because I went to, after I think 1990, I got made redundant from work. Okay, and I went out with my two friends. Again, my friend Simon Lee, another friend who did Wing Chun, and I went out there to go and see like the Grand Master, Mr. Jen Chin Hong. But when we got out there, he was in China, so I couldn't train with him. So I'm doing Wing Chun. And went to join Lung Ting School out there, down Nathan Road. Yeah. So we didn't go out with my friend Simon, who stopped doing martial arts, but his family style was Lee style family. So we'd go out with him, and we'd meet his relatives, friends, and cousins and that. And they'd say, basically, why are these guys over here? So we'd say, we'd come to learn martial arts and that. They go, all right, what would you do? So my friend, they go, he does Wing Chun. They go, Wing Chun. Very good, very good, very good. What are you here for? So I come to learn Tai Chi. Tai Chi. And they'd go, dung, 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 dung. I say, what are they doing that music for? And my friend, through the translation, said there was a famous soap opera in Hong Kong.
Right.
Hong. And Wong Fei Hong did Tai Chi in the park. And when he done the Tai Chi, they played this dung, dung, dung.
Yeah.
So
famous music for him.
Yeah, I say, no, it's not. It's a martial art. We use kicking, punching, sweeping, locking, throwing techniques, my teacher was Southeast Asian champion, and even the guy in Hong Kong, Mr. Jing Jinhong, was 97 Southeast Asian champion. It's a martial art. And they was like, no, dung, 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 dung. So, unconsciously didn't know it. So we met various people, and we met another one of his cousins, and what are you here for? I'm here to learn martial arts. So what do you do? My friend said, I do Wing Chun. Oh yeah, Wing Chun. Very good, very good. What are you doing? So I come to learn Tai Chi. And he go, dung, 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 dung. I'm like, no, it's a martial art. And I try to explain to him, but he didn't get it. After about the third or fourth time, we met another one of his friends and that. Same thing. What are you here for? And so he's learning Wing Chun. Wing Chun. Very good. Excellent martial art. Very good. What are you here for? So I thought what I'd do, I'd try my best Cantonese, which ain't that great at the best of times. So I said, I'll come to Tai Chi Kun. So he went, yeah, very good. Punching, elbowing, knee. And I thought, wow, I found someone now that knows Tai Chi is a martial art. I said, yeah. Tai Chi. You went, Tai Chi? I thought you said Thai boxing. Oh, yeah, Tai Chi. Dung, 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 dung. So,
it's the turn. Yeah, it's the turn, isn't it? Because there's that division, isn't there? Some people just refer to it as Tai Chi as the soft health giving aspect, and Tai Chi Chuan or Tai Chi for the fight inside the Tai Chi boxing. But
yeah, but if I said Thai boxing, that's where he's going.
Oh, Thai boxing. Right.
Yes. Yeah, so I said to him, I said, "Oh, Tai Chi Kun," which ain't great.
Yeah.
Thai boxing, and he went, "Oh yeah, you use fists, you use elbows, you use knees," and I said, "Yeah, Tai Chi." He went, "Tai Chi." Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I give up after that now. So I don't now. If people say it's an old man's art, then great. If you think it's that, you think it's that.
Yeah, no, I've met. I've seen lots of people that do various kind of Tai Chi, different Tai Chi in Hong Kong and here. And there's a few people that I know have properly got it. I think if you clash with them, you'd be in serious trouble because they've got everything, that power, that rootedness, the sensitivity. It's that solidness and the Fa Jing, the Geng, which is, for us is Geng, for them like Fa Jing, and people kind of differentiate these as being long power and short power. But when you train a long time, it ain't no difference. Kind of, it's that
Fa Jin, basically Fa Jin. You do Fa Jin as well, in your system. Yeah. So Fa Jin, Fa means to release an arrow, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So within Chinese, so my teacher, he wants to get his students to be what he calls Renaissance Tai Chi people that are bringing it back as a martial art, can speak about the history, philosophy, theoretical side of it, and also can do it. So talking, but can you do it as well? Yeah. So this Fa Jin or Fa Jing in Cantonese, you guys do it as well. It's no different. And what it is that Fa means to release an arrow. Yeah. Okay. The Jin side of it, the radical for the character is Li for strength. So it's someone pushing a plough.
Yeah.
When you push a plough, obviously they're pictograph. They tell stories.
Yeah.
You play it makes you strong. Yeah. Okay. The second part of the character is silk, and they used to write books on silk, So education, So what it actually means is educated force.
Nice.
So when you're practicing your forms, right, and you do a punch out, and you might get quite good, you might compress, You're using power with technique.
Yes.
So as an analogy, right, if you imagine like the English longbow, The English longbow, right? They found on a Mary Rose. They got it from Mary Rose, and they restrung them, right? It was £100.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Right. Okay. Right now, if you take the longbow and the arrow, as power, and you drawing a bow back, that's technique. Now, if you the bow, right, and the arrow, but you keep your arm out straight and you pull the string back, the wrong technique, and now you're shaking because of power in the bow. When you let it go, right, it goes twang, the string hits your arm, you go, So that's technique, Right. Now change it around slightly, get someone with a bent elbow, pull the string back nicely, he's got his elbow up, but his shoulders down relaxed, He's got great technique, right? But he's got a children's toy bow and arrow. When he releases it, he just goes plop on the floor.
Yeah.
What you need, right, is that long bow or any bow, But with the technique, and that's what Fa Jin is, educated force.
I like that description.
So you guys do it. You guys do Fa Jin as well.
We call it like obviously it's a trained force.
Yes, educated force.
Yeah. So it's and again it's the skill or method of releasing that power. For us, Geng is that shock power. It's like that is really a short release. That's what we train for in our system.
Yeah, same for us. For us.
Which is
we have long Geng and also short Geng. So you punch here, it's long Geng, but also like inch punch power.
Yes.
So it's the same. It's no different. There's nothing mysterious about it.
Once you understand it, then I think that if you're training and you're getting that long power through training, everything shortens. Like us, we do things big, and we train and to reduce them, to make them small. It's like
exactly. Alex and I were talking about it actually and the idea is that this power that you build, whether you call it Fa Jing or Gengtan, it's not something that's just limited to being able to be from the hand, like as most people like bridge Gengtan. It's something that is shoulder, hip, knee. So it's every part of your body should be able to express that power.
Exactly.
And how you do it is technique and trained power. And the concept is as we were saying, you should be able to express that power with any part of your body, any part of your limb. And
same for us, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And spontaneous.
Shoulder, elbow, hips, knees, the whole lot, the whole thing.
Head. Get a little bit of headbutt in there.
Head as well, yeah. Head as well. So again, it's back to this. It's back to this educated force. So it's power with technique. You've got the power, right? But your wrist is bent and your finger is sticking out. You haven't got the right technique, right? But you can have perfect technique, right? But no power. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
Both. It's educated power.
It's that combination of the two.
Exactly.
Can we go back maybe a couple of steps?
Yeah, sure.
Can you talk a little bit about Tai Chi, and even the lineage of Tai Chi that you have, and some of the history behind it, just in case for those that probably aren't.
Sure. Okay, so the earliest recording of Tai Chi I know about, or I said about in history, was Yang Yu-Chan,
right,
up at Beijing about 1852. Yeah. Before that, it was called other things. It was called soft boxing, cotton boxing, also in tactics as well. Yeah. Okay. Then it became known as Tai Chi. So our lineage comes from my teacher, Dan Docherty, learned from his teacher, Jen Tin Hung, who had two teachers. One was his uncle, called Cheng Wing Kwong. Cheng Wing Kwong learned from Wu Jin Chuan. Yeah. Wu Jin Chuan learned from his father called Kwong Yu. Yeah. And Kwong Yu learned from Yang Li Chan in the Imperial Palace. Yeah.
Right.
And also Yang Li Chan's son called Yang Ban Ho. Now, Yang Ban Ho was supposed to be a tough taskmaster and ended up getting beaten up and didn't have many students, Okay. But then his uncle, Jane Tin Hung's uncle, got a guy across from China, a guy called Chai Man Hun, so my teacher does Cantonese and Mandarin, so I learn both ways, so it's quite about,
that's cool.
Chi Min Shui in Mandarin, So he come across to Hong Kong and he taught Jane Tin Hung for just under 3 years, So they roamed about, so he taught Jane Tin Hung and his two cousins, But the actual training was quite harsh. You'd get in a horse stance, you start shaking, he'd clout you around the head or he'd kick your legs away, And the two nephews couldn't take the training. They cried to their mum saying it's too hard, So they stopped training, but Mr. Jing didn't mind, this sort of stuff, Okay. So this Cheng Wing Kwong, he learned from a guy called Ching Yat, who was a Buddhist monk, And Ching Yat learned from a guy called Wang Neng Ting. Now, Wang Neng Ting was a Manchu guard and apparently killed some soldiers and sought sanctuary in the temple.
Right.
And that's a temple, so he took down to our lineage. Obviously, Ching Yat learned from Wang Neng Ting, and Wang Neng Ting learned from Yang Yu-Chan as well. So it all goes back to Yang Yu-Chan. And some say Yang Yu-Chan learned Chen-style Tai Chi,
Right.
Some say Chen-style was the founder of Tai Chi, and some say it comes from Jan Sanfeng, a Taoist monk in the mountains. So what it is you follow, what you believe in.
Right. Because there's a couple of different styles of Tai Chi, right? You've got Yang, Chen, Sun,
Wu style.
Wu style. So,
So ours is a branch of Wu style. So that stuff, it does come down from Wu Jin Chuan.
Right.
So my teacher's uncle, Cheng Wing Kwong, learned from Wu Jin Chuan.
Right.
Wu Jin Chuan learned from his father, and they founded Wu style. Wu Jin Chuan founded Wu style, So it goes up that way to Yang Li Chan, but then they brought another guy in called Chi Min Shui, who then goes back to Yang Li Chan as well. So it's both come down to the same thing.
Got you. Right.
So we've got some stuff in our system, our Wu style system, that other Wu styles haven't got. This other lineage, this Ching Yat, the guy come across China. So there's stuff in it that I've not seen it. I'm not saying I haven't got it. I've not seen it in their system. So we have stuff running thunder hand, gyrating arm, flying flower palm, and I'm not seeing it in the actual Wu style stuff. But I've not seen it. Okay. That's our lineage back to Yang Yu-Chan. So Yang Yu-Chan was he's called Yang Invincible. He was famous for bringing Tai Chi to Beijing.
Right.
And he taught the Manchu Imperial Guards. So they must have been, it must have been good to actually teach them.
Yeah. Teaching the military.
He also started teaching a few of the royal princes and that. So it become like a sort of hierarchy sort of martial art, So that was that. So basically, Tai Chi Chuan. So most people call it Tai Chi, but we call it Tai Chi Chuan. So it can be translated in many ways. I don't speak Cantonese. I tried once many years ago. Some of these guys might know. Remember Victor Appia?
Yeah.
Right. So I don't.
He talks about Victor today, in fact.
Oh, right, okay. He's okay.
Yeah.
That was many
Because
moons.
I was learning Cantonese with Victor, and we would have he's come to a couple of dinners when Sifu Chuan or Sifu Pori was doing big things. So we know Victor. So
yeah, he gets around, old Victor. So there's a lot of we know have studied under him for a bit.
Yeah, a lot of kung fu guys have. Yeah, a lot of kung fu guys have studied under him. So I was going now. I was doing
Cantonese. You were doing Cantonese,
yeah. So I forgot what I was going over there. But I was learning from about a translation. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So the translation can mean supreme ultimate boxing, yeah, or it can mean grand ultimate fist, yeah.
Right,
but we don't say that because that's like saying it's the best, the ultimate, yeah. We don't say that. We say it's a good martial art. It's comparable to other arts, but it's not the best, yeah. So a better translation is a method of boxing based on yin and yang.
Right.
Mm.
So method of boxing based on yin and yang. So I'll just show you this. I'll show you if you can see this here. This yin yang symbol, yeah, you can see it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure how it comes across, if it's reverse or whatever, yeah. But if you imagine looking at it, right, it'll be going clockwise fashion.
Yeah.
Right, this, right, okay. So this here, this part here, it means early morning.
Yeah.
Right, and it turns round. So this is yang yang, yeah.
Yeah.
It turns round. This part goes onto the top here.
Mm.
This is old yang. This is midday.
Yeah.
This is sun's at its zenith, at its hottest, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It carries on turning, and it goes early evening. This is now yang yin. It carries on turning. This is on top now. This is old yin. This is midnight, nighttime. So it keeps doing this, yeah?
Yeah.
It does that, right. It also can be spring, summer, autumn,
winter. Yeah.
Right. So our club's badge, obviously, I'm not sure if it's in reverse on the camera, yeah? But our club's badge is this, springtime, yeah? You want, in springtime, lambs are born, buds appear, is growth. We want Tai Chi, Kung Fu to grow.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I like that.
That's what we're after. Yeah, okay. If you flip it over and go this way around, anti-clockwise, it means destruction.
Yeah.
It means destruction, yeah? Okay. Yeah. We don't want that. If you look at the Korean flag, South Korean flag is the opposite way, again, anti-clockwise, yeah? It's destruction. The country's been at war for many, many years, North and South Korea. So we don't want that. We want it to go in a clockwise fashion because one element gives birth to the next element. Yeah,
it's harmonious in it rather than just...
Right, okay. But this again, basically, so boxing's based on this method here, yin and yang interacting. Yeah? Now, it's okay having a theory, but you've got to put into practice, yeah? Okay. Right. So how we do it? Okay. If someone's punching in, yeah, their punch will be what? Will be yang, will be hard.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we know through this symbol that one overcomes the other. Just as night follows day, day follows night, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So, our opponent's punching with yang, power. What we do, move out of the way, and we divert with softness with yin. Because yin overcomes yang. Yeah. Right. Once we do yin against yang, we then change it back to yang overcoming yin. So it might be a poke in the eyes. It might be a punch in the throat. It might be a hit in the testicles. It might be a punch to the sternum. So we're using yin against yang, yang against yin.
Right.
So that's how you use it. But if I divert someone, right, using softness, but then poke them on the top of the skull, this is now yin compared to yang. If I poke her in the eyes, this is now yang compared to yin in the eyes.
Right.
So it's yin against yang against yin. Yeah. So it's how you use it. So getting back to when I first started doing martial arts, I didn't mention it, but I like to, you guys have mentioned in the past, Monkey and the Water Margin and David Carradine and Fu and all these philosophical stuff, yeah? So stuff like the Water Margin, I think it was like, do not despise a snake for having no horns, or just a dragon, yeah?
Yeah.
So like those things. So within this art, my teacher was teaching all this philosophy and all this theoretical stuff and how to use it, yeah? So I liked all that sort of stuff. So as an analogy, we have a thing called the Tai Chi Classics, yeah? And in those classics, it says that 4 ounces can overcome 1,000 pounds.
Yes,
right?
That does, yeah.
But it's how you use it. So, as an analogy, right? If you look at a ball in a field, yeah, you've got a ball in a field, right? So that ball is, say, £1,000, right? And we get a bit of string, and we tie that bit of string to the ball's back leg, and we try and drag that ball away. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work because you haven't got the technique or the skill, yeah? Right. How you use it, you take the string on a bit of rope here, and you put it through the ball's ring that's low. Then you pull it, and the ball gets pulled around the field.
Yeah.
That's what it means by 4 ounces. Overcome a fountain. It's nothing mysterious.
It's just like
cool.
How you use the power.
It's how you use it, yeah. It's how you use the techniques.
Yeah. So you're talking about that applied to the techniques, applied to the punch. That diversion, it's very simple then, isn't it?
Yeah. You need as an example
to divert something that's, quite powerful.
So I show my students, right, and you can do it yourself when you get together, right? If you face your partner, right, and he punches in with a slow punch but a lot of power coming forwards, right?
Yeah.
Person facing him, just put up 2 fingers and try and stop it. You won't stop it. Just do it slowly, and that person will hit you in the chest here and knock you backwards, yeah? Right. Yeah. If you change it and put 2 fingers on the side,
it goes that way. Yeah.
Force gets taken away. And that's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's about soft overcoming hard.
Yeah.
But at the right time in an appropriate way.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what it was. So we're using a theory, but we're applying a theory to practice.
Yeah.
Right.
So the name was given to Mr. Jing in Hong Kong. He became known as the Tai Chi bodyguard. Okay. So back in the 50s, you had people with TB, tuberculosis, and they were Tai Chi. Okay. They were doing Tai Chi a bit like my teacher now. You've got this this virus going around, yeah? My teacher now's got a site called Tai Chi Antivirus about teaching Qigong stuff online over Zoom to get people strong in their lungs. Okay, so he's doing that as we speak now. He's doing classes on that. So a bit like it was in the 50s, yeah? Okay, but what happened in the 50s was you had these people with TB training in the parks and that, yeah? And some of the hardstyle kung fu were there, didn't like it. They didn't like these guys training in the park for health. So they had TB, basically. Do you understand what I did?
Yeah.
So they were getting bullied by these kung fu guys in the park. So Mr. Jeng went down now and done his own Tai Chi bullying. And eventually they left them alone. They wouldn't.
Did his own Tai Chi bullying?
Yeah.
Doing their he done his own Tai Chi bullying. So he was known as a Tai Chi bodyguard. Also, he trained people to do full contact fights. He was a full contact fighter himself. So he took part in the Tri-Nations competition in 57. It was Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau.
Yeah.
So he won the championships. He fought a guy called Yu Man Tong from Taiwan, who was a 3 times all Taiwan champion. So he beat him in his backyard. So he must have been quite good at his stuff.
Yeah. You can't go down to a judge's decision with those things.
No. So he then produced more and more fighters. And they produced more fighters. So the actual Hong Kong martial art press, they started calling his stuff practical Tai Chi because it worked.
Right.
The name that my teacher uses now uses practical Tai Chi International because it's practical.
Right. Yeah.
There's no mysticism there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff, and it works.
Yeah, and Alex and I were talking about this the other day, just as we were reaching out to speak to you, because like Sifu Dan Docherty is a name we know through for well over 2 decades myself and Al probably just as even more than me, but like we were saying, early magazines like Martial Arts Illustrated, Combat, and he had a class in North London, like which is our backyard. So it was like, oh, know this guy, and he, I think even in his, back then it would have been articles, not like now where we've got YouTube and things like that. Articles. And the thing that he kept pushing was Tai Chi is practical as a martial art, and that I think that's something that your teacher Sifu Dan has been doing since early days, since he started teaching. Like, I want to change the thought and concept of Tai Chi as just this healthy art. It's not in its own right. It's a practical martial art, and that's the way I was taught it, and that's the way I want to. And kudos to you to keep that going.
Yeah. So again, he had what we call Renaissance people, could be a back to the masses, could also fight with it. And I don't mean going out causing fights, but you can defend yourself. Yeah.
As that martial capability, which is what we've all understood Tai Chi Chuan is, it's Grand Ultimate Fist or whatever name it's got.
Yeah.
It's was one of the highest of the, the three internal systems. And fighting system. However, as we know, it's just been, I don't want to say watered down. It's like maybe people have chosen to take it down the healthy
route and neglected.
Massive in the 70s, 80s in particular. The health side, became big.
You had as well. You had the likes of Yang Chan teaching in Beijing, and obviously you had the fall of the government. You had the Mantis fell, and then obviously they was teaching high-ranking people, court officials, magistrates, high-ranking people, the princes of China. So it's like teaching, maybe nowadays, teaching Prince Charles, right? I throw him on the floor.
Yeah.
Throwing technical in. So they sort of walked it down and made it more for the intellectual people, made it more soft. If you're not being shown it, then you can't pass it on as a martial art. So it gets passed on itself.
Yeah.
Keeps going on, so ever,
Yeah, it could have started way back then, is what you're saying.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because
there's a lot of quite, it's known as the scholar's art, as it were. It's very deep information about Tai Chi. So, people, that information isn't just for mental kind of processing. It's supposed to be practically applied as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
The information in it. But like you say, I think more recent times, the whole, health craze and aerobics and everything else, and people have just, got into Tai Chi for that purpose, and it's proliferated. So there's many people teaching it that way, and fewer teaching it as the common
exactly.
part.
Yeah. And you've got as well. You've got where people have not learned the full system, then start going elsewhere. They'll start putting hardstyle kung fu, or they start learning yoga. Talk about chakras, and then you have got to start understanding yoga to understand Tai Chi. But no, it's got its own anyway.
Yes, it has. Yeah.
It's excellent, on its own, so Tai Chi. But people start mixing it in because they've got a lack of understanding, or they haven't got
they're filling the gaps from somewhere else, and it.
Yeah.
So with respect to the lineage of Tai Chi that you do, can you talk a little bit about the curriculum or what the art is made up of in terms of, do you have a number of forms? Do you have weapon forms or?
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so we have basically 5 component parts. Yeah, those 5 component parts are all interrelated. Right. If you only have one part of it, you only get one part of it benefit. They're all interrelated. Okay, so the first part and the most famous part is the hand form. So you would have seen people in the parks in China, Hong Kong doing the soft, slow movements. Okay, the hand form relaxes the body. Yeah, so the idea is the more relaxed you are, the faster you are in combat. Right? Of course, if you get in an altercation, you will be doing the movements slow because no one's going to punch you slow. They're going to punch you with power and force. Yeah. Okay, so the hand form relaxes the body. Yeah. It's good for circulation. It's good for the respiratory system. It's good for muscles, ligaments, tendons, joints. But the main and the mind as well. But the main thing is you relax the body. Yeah, has a common effect on the body.
And how many steps to the form that you do? Because there are
so
24, 72, and all that.
Right. Okay. Traditionally, in our system, we had one form called the long form. Yeah, long form. Yeah. You learn it 2 ways. Now there's 119 movements. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Those movements also broken down. So if you like, we've got a movement called wave hands in clouds. Yeah, waving hands in clouds. Now that's one movement, but in that movement there's 15 movements to it.
Right.
Right. Okay. And also as well, the name of it is not really waving the hands in the clouds. The real name for it is turning hands. But in Chinese, cloud and turning sound similar. Someone called it waving the hands in cloud, but really it's called turning hands.
Yeah. Right.
They put a pun onto it, yeah? Okay. Yeah. So we had one form originally, one long form. Now we learn it 2 ways. We learn what's called square form, and then we learn round form. So the history of that is, Chuan, he rocked up at Beijing with other Tai Chi people and started teaching in university. And it was known as the art for the literati, the high-ranking people. So everyone wanted to do Tai Chi. So he was teaching Tai Chi at Beijing University, okay, but he had 100 students, and they couldn't see what he was doing. If you were at the back of the class, did he turn right foot? Was it right hand first? Was it this? So what he did, he had a stage built and sat on top of the stage and broke it down into bite-sized pieces, yeah? So what you say, like, basically you learn to write your name, you've done sort of like print Tai Chi, yeah?
Yeah.
Broke it down. Then once you know what you're doing, you then do like sort of joined up writing. So joined Tai Chi, yeah? Okay, so that's the hand form. So my teacher taught, when he come to the country, he started teaching long form. He'd teach it square, then he'd teach it round, yeah? Okay, but because we're doing all the other stuff as well, you couldn't learn it quickly. So a lot of systems in Tai Chi only teach hand form. They teach one hand form and one push hands drill. So you can learn it quite quickly. You're doing imagine every class, right? You're doing the hand form. So an hour or 2 hours of hand form, you get it quite quickly. But that's what you get. But in our system, we're doing applications, we're doing technique, we're doing weapons, push hands. So it took longer to learn. Okay. So it became famous where people come from over from Denmark, Sweden, Finland, America, Australia, coming to learn from Dan, my teacher, yeah? So there's nothing worse, right, than learn the form. So you might come in for a week, right, or 2 weeks, learn the form, yeah? And all of a sudden, you've gone back to your country, you've only got half a form. Stop in there, and that's it. Go back to the beginning, yeah? So what he did, he devised a short form, which you could learn a lot quicker. So these people had, and basically the short form was parts of the long form made short. So like a long chain, it'd take a few links out there, a few links there, a few links from the chain. But it just gives people something to learn, and then when they went back to their own country to carry on practicing, rather than stopping dead and then going back to the beginning.
Yeah.
There was only one form.
So they could learn the short form and then keep it continuous.
Yeah, and then come back.
And then learn the long form.
Exactly, yeah, exactly, right. yeah. So that was the hand form. Okay, so a quick drink. The second part is pushing hands. Called pushing hands, yeah. But again, later on, it should be called Dashou.
Dashou, yeah, which is hitting the
Dashou, striking hands. Yeah?
Striking hands, yeah.
So we have in Tai Chi what's called the Tai Chi classics. One of the classics is called Dashou Gei, yeah. So Da is to hit, Shou is hand, and Gei is song or poem. So in your art, you've got poems, yeah.
Yeah.
Like your hands that come from your heart.
Yeah.
Right. So we got those. Not same as that, but we've got poems. So the Chuan, they taught these forms in poems or songs because most of the country was literate, couldn't read or write. I'll give you a book. There's the answer with a book there, but you can't read it. It's no good to you. So they would teach these classics, these poems or these songs.
So it's like an oral tradition of being able.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they can memorize it and keep saying it. So like my family, he's now 15, but at the age of like 4 or 5, he was singing like Arctic Monkeys, Totalitarian. Hadn't what it meant, but he'd heard it and kept repeating, kept singing it.
Yeah.
That's how it was passed down throughout China because most of them couldn't read or write. Yeah. So these poems and songs were put into the system. Okay. So we've got one of the classics is about fighting. It's called the Fighter Song or the Song of Striking Hands. Okay. So the push hands is a 2-partner drill. It trains you at close quarters. Yeah. Okay. So as soon as you bridge, you engage someone, yeah? We do it, first of all, fixed step. And the idea is to off-balance someone, yeah? First of all, strike them. Yeah? We actually push them.
Yeah.
That push could be a strike, yeah? Okay. So first of all, we engage. The idea is to control your bridge. Stop you from hitting me.
Yeah.
At the same time, I try and hit you. If I can't hit you, I off-balance you. So if you like, yeah? In the hacker arts, they talk about sink, swallow, spit, yeah?
Yeah.
Many people mention float.
Yeah, it's in art.
Sink, swallow, spit, float, yeah? In hacker arts, right?
Yeah.
The part of it is you're making a person lose their balance.
Yeah, you're floating the other person.
You're off-balancing them, yeah? So we're engaging with someone. First thing is we hit them. Yeah. If we can't hit them, we stop them hitting us, yeah? Then we off-balance them. And while you're being off-balanced, yeah, you're not thinking about defending yourself. You're thinking about regaining balance. Like, if you walk down the road and you slip on ice, straight away you try and rebalance yourself, yeah? So the idea is we off-balance you, and while we off-balance you, we then strike you.
Yeah.
Pushing hand, it's a 2-partner drill, yeah? It also trains matching. If one comes forward, one goes back, one goes left, one goes right.
Yeah.
Yin and yang going on all the time, yeah? So it mainly trains. It also trains coordination, again, muscles, ligaments, tendons, joints, circulation.
Yeah.
But the main thing is it trains to fight at close quarters. Once we go from fixed step, we go to moving step. We go to what we call Tai Chi wrestling. So we have throwing techniques in Tai Chi. From there, from the wrestling, we incorporate striking as well. Then from there, we go to what's called San Xiao. San means to scatter in hands. So when you disengage, you then come back in scattering hands, you deal with it. You're back making contact, you're hitting a person, or you're controlling a person, off balance them, if you want to say float, make them move, then you strike them. And that's what the pushing hands trains. It's a two-partner drill at close quarters.
Right.
That's the second aspect we teach in the system. The third aspect is self-defense. So in Tai Chi, we have what they have in all martial arts, or Chinese martial arts, Da, to strike, Ti, to kick, Shui, to throw, Na is to seize, to lock, We also have it, we call it in our system, we call it Dia Pu. And Dia Pu, the character, is in Chinese, in the character means to ensnare a small animal, to entrap a small animal. So the idea would be, I'll entwine my legs around your legs and throw you over. So I'm entwining your legs, So the idea is to make you fall down, then hit you. Or hit you, to make you fall down. So we call it Dia Pu as well. But it's got kicking, punching, throwing, and locking. No difference to all the other Chinese martial arts. Like you say. So that's the self-defense part of it. Okay. Then we have the weapons part. We have the three classical Chinese weapons, which is a Chuan, spear. We have a Dou, which is knife, saber. And we have a Gim or Jian, which is strength. We train those three weapons. Okay.
Is there much in the way of pole work at all, or is it just
spear? We have spear.
Okay.
We have spear. So the spear would have been obviously a spearhead, and they've got like a red tassel on it.
That's right.
Now the idea behind that, again, if I've got it wrong, then people can correct me. I've got no problem with that. But the idea was that when you stab someone, it was horsehair, from the horse's tail. So the first thing he did was it come from the horse's backside, so it had horse shit around it. Excrement, Okay. When you stab someone, the horse shit's going to the person.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's like an older, modern day biological war. You're putting poison in someone's body. Okay. Second thing is that it's supposed to stop the blood running down the shaft.
So don't get slippery.
Okay. Also, as well, you can check this out as well, right? By it being red, if you move it slightly in someone's face, it can disorientate them. Now, going back a few years now, but the England rugby team, World Cup rugby team, they wore a white jersey with a red stripe going down the chest onto the shorts. It was just one stripe going down. And the idea was when they run at you and sidestep, the red would interfere with your eyes. You couldn't see what they were doing. So they looked at it scientifically. Even goalkeepers, like the likes of in Chelsea, Peter Cech, was like bright orange colours. So when a goalkeeper come out and done this sort of thing, you're off taking your shot. So they've used this stuff that was used in Chinese martial arts and now looked at it scientifically to the forefront. At the time, though, we didn't do too well rugby. It was quite rubbish, but that was the fear of the red stripe going down the shirt, Okay. So that's a spear. Then we have the saber, and then we have the straight sword. So they say 100 days for spear, 1,000 days for saber, and 10,000 days for straight sword. Just means it's more intricate, more hard.
It does require a great degree of skill to actually use.
So I learned spear first of all, and again, my teacher used to give us a lot of these Chinese sayings, and he tells about it. And he said, to the Chinese, young people have fiery chi in their chest. We might call it testosterone, but they've got this fiery chi in the body, So he taught us spear, and he could bang, he could use it quite well in that. But then later on, he changed it around. He started teaching people the saber later on. But the first one was spear, then saber, then straight sword. They are the three classical weapons. So I said to my teacher, how comes other systems have got more stuff? They've got double hammers, they've got double knives, double swords. He said, well, if you can use those three weapons well, you can pick anything up. So each weapon has got a form to it, and we learn the applications for it. Now, it has been said that obviously it's archaic, you can't use it. Of course, you can't go around the street with a saber or a spear or a sword. But if I've got a golfing umbrella if I've got a rucksack or a crash helmet,
Yeah. Yeah.
modern-day stuff.
It's
So
kind of
ancient weapons, you can still use it nowadays. Yeah.
yeah, you get the essence of it and that feeling.
Yeah.
And we've spoken before, and we said sometimes the idea nowadays is not to try, because you're not going to walk around with a weapon, but it's actually learning how to transfer power from your body into those weapons, and that stays with you. That power in your hands.
Exactly. So you can pick up. I remember we did.
Yeah, it's not just one single thing that you get.
No.
You look into it. There's many layers.
Yeah, obviously the weapons they train the body differently to the hand form.
Yeah,
it's quite fast jumping. So the weapons they're linked to animals. Yeah, so the saber is linked to a tiger. It's got a long low back. Yeah, there's lots of leaping and jumping techniques in it. Yeah, okay. The spear and straight sword they're linked to the dragon. The dragon. Yeah. Now the dragon is a mythological animal, yeah? But it lives in the realms of the heavens and the sea. It comes out of the sea, goes to the heavens or the clouds and circles down. Yeah. So our spear form and our sword form is upward movements and then sinking down movements, expanding movements, contraction, just like a dragon swaying throughout the sky. Yeah. So it's linked to those. So we learn a form for those, we learn the applications for those, and obviously, so again, so difficulty, you can pick something up and use it. I remember doing a demo with my teacher years ago. It was in a New World restaurant in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
It was for the Target for Great Britain. And he had me attack him with an umbrella. And he defended me with 2 chopsticks. Ended up in my throat. So he said to the Chinese, they would have picked anything up. Wooden bench.
Yeah.
Some styles do bench forms, yeah.
Yeah.
A pot, a plate, chopsticks, whatever.
What?
Just run, But the weapons become extension of the hands.
Right.
And what you do empty hand, you can also do things with weapons. And what you do with weapons, you can do empty hand as well.
Yeah.
So if we block with a saber like this, and then stab, that could be a block and breaking someone's arm.
Yeah.
Adapting the system, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same with say like paisao, and then if you've got a weapon in your hand, that becomes an extension of your
exactly.
So then the practice is to learn to generate the force from your body that's going to be into the weapon to take it to a certain part of the weapon to give it the maximum clout, if you like,
Yeah. So that's the 4th aspect. The 5th aspect is called Nei Gong. It means internal strength.
Yeah.
So, all these arts, they have it. So we've got a saying in Tai Chi, and it says, you can learn Chuan, boxing, forms, techniques, until you're an old man with a long white beard. But if you don't have Gong, it's all in vain. What I mean by that, if you don't have conditioning, right, I can learn all your forms, right? I can learn a Choi Li Fat form, I can learn a Pak Mei form, a Wing Chun form. I know all these forms, and all these techniques, right? I get to occasion, someone goes, bang, I go, oh, I'm now winded. Where's my gone? Out the window. It's not going to happen. So we have conditioning. It's like you've got your conditioning in your system. Chinese arts, they've got conditioning. You must be able to take a punch and give a punch back. If you don't, they say it's all in vain.
Yeah.
You can learn, old man, but it's all in vain. So you must have conditioning. So conditioning for us is trained in the Nei Gong.
Right.
We also have other training we use as well, but the Nei Gong trains us, right? So it's good for health, for like therapeutic meditation, It trains muscles, ligaments, tendons, joints, circulation, respiratory system, also training total body movement, But mainly it trains us to take kicks and punches and deliver power back with punches.
So is that done separate from the form? Or is it contained in the form?
No, it's separate from the form. So if anything, they're more important than the hand form.
Yeah. So you got
Go on.
Are they moving breathing forms or?
Right. No. Okay. Most of there's 24. There's 12 yin and 12 yang. Yeah. Right. Some are stationary, and they train the body internally. So you might hold your hands up. Right. You're going against. You might be on the floor, a low posture. You've got gravity pushing the blood down. Then you stand up and you raise your hands up to the sky. right? And now gravity, your blood's now going against gravity. So you're also draining the lymphatic system. So it trains you internally. It also trains what's called autonomic nervous system. Yeah? They are fixed postures. And then we have moving postures. And those moving postures have got applications behind them. Self-defense applications behind them. But this stuff is taught separate to the hand form. And it's not taught openly. So what we have actually, we have, you become what's called, obviously, if the teacher accepts you, so my dog's drinking water again.
Thirsty.
Right, so you've got it within Tai Chi, and again, this is like what they say why it's called inner arts or internal arts. Yeah. There's a debate about Neiji Chuan and external arts and internal arts. Yeah. Okay, but within Tai Chi, this is stuff that's taught inner. So what happens? You go to the teacher, and then if he accepts you, you go for a ceremony called Baishi. Yeah. Become what's called a menren, a door person. Yeah. And you're after what's called Zen Chun, a true transmission. Once you become a menren, a door person, you go through the door. Yeah? You enter through the door, and the teacher, it says, lead you along the path, but oral transmission is given to you. So you learn the higher parts of the art, yeah? So if you look at it as well, in these old schools years ago, going back in time, they would learn in like confined buildings. Yeah? So you can walk down a road, there'd be a kung fu class going on.
That's right, yeah.
Because it's actually hidden within the complex, yeah? So that's stuff, the indoor stuff, yeah?
Yeah.
You've got basic like bread and butter techniques, and then as you go through the door and become a door person, you then get exposed to the higher parts of the art and that.
Yeah.
So that's why they call it an internal art as well.
Yeah, it's like you do the Baishi and you become an enter the gate student, or you
exactly
through the gate or through the door, and
exactly
either a disciple or an an indoor student, so more accepted to be shown the art.
So it's got links to Taoism, religious aspects to it, and obviously in those temples they went through ceremonies. So we go through a ceremony as well, paying our respects to Jan San Feng, the founder of Tai Chi, who we believe is the founder of Tai Chi. So we go through that, and then you become a disciple of the teacher, and then it's a two-way thing. You're there to train, learn the stuff, and he's obligation to teach you, and you pass it on. So that's that in the door stuff. That's why you can say it's called internal martial arts. There's different things. Some say there's external martial arts and internal martial arts. External martial arts are from Shaolin Temple because Dharma come across from India. Therefore, it's an external art. Yeah, that's one thing. The Tai Chi, Bagua, Xingyi, they come from inside the country. They were taught inside the country, but you've got arts that wasn't at Wudang Mountain or wasn't at Shaolin Temple. So where do they stand in this thing? Yeah. Yeah,
exactly. It's not a straightforward thing, is it?
No. Plus, also you've got internal stuff. If you're doing your Dip Guat Gung, that's internal stuff going on. Internal martial arts as well.
Yeah, and whether you call it Nei Gung or like we call them gungs, but like you said, they're all trained to build you kind of inside out, and to have what
you need both. You need the external training to develop the body for the internal training to happen and to be
exactly.
They're not totally separable, as it were.
That's right.
You with respect to that Nei Gung and conditioning, do you do much in the way of the conditioning like you see with the clashing of the forearms, with the hitting of the ribs and the kicking of the legs and things like that?
No, none of that at all.
Right.
So this is the thing that's quite mysterious. I say mysterious. You're doing exercises, right? That you're not doing no arm bashing.
Yep.
Getting kicked in the body. You're not getting hitting the ribs or hitting the throat or hitting the legs and that. But through doing it, you can take the ability to take that.
Yeah.
Developing the tendons.
It's quite strange. Yeah. Now I've students that have trained with me. I've trained elsewhere. And they've done other stuff, and they've done limb bashing, freestyle limb bashing.
I'm saying,
And they've gone, your arms feel like steel. But we don't do no bashing. So right after they started doing Tai Chi of cotton, metal, steel, wrapped in cotton. Yeah. So our arms are strong, but they're not trained that way to be strong. So we don't do no bashing. So you could say that when we look at it, that your body is a living organism, so we don't want to be bashing the arms and But then the flip side of it, you get strong arms, you can smash people with them. So there's
right, interesting.
It's different kind of.
Yeah, no way's right, no way's wrong. It's just different.
No, just because
it's interesting how you develop the conditioning, as it were, that heaviness. It comes from the negung and
negung, yeah.
So, when you do the negung, you don't actually do it with any hitting.
Well, the last part, we have a thing with massage the stomach, and we beat the stomach and the body 24 times.
Right.
We have no bashing.
No.
But we can do. I mean, obviously, we've got different levels of it. There's 3 levels of it. Yeah. What we can do, if we're trying to, because we're some guys that took full contact, we also then start bashing the legs.
Yeah.
Bashing the arms and the body, but we don't. It's not done every single class. Yeah. We also have one we can do it down there and have people throw kicks to our body and punches, but it's not a thing of drill where we do it like you guys do it in your chongs. It's not like that for us.
It's more to stimulate the chi rather than
so there's certain postures train the sinews, train the tendons and stuff, but
interesting.
no passion.
So one of the things I read or learn about in Tai Chi is that they have something called the 13 postures and the 13 principles. Postures with regard to Heng, warding off, advancing.
Heng, Lu, Ji, An, Kai, Zhou and Kao.
Can you talk a little bit about that? I know it's probably a 2-hour talk just on its own, but
I just get a quick glass of water, just 2 seconds.
And for those that are online, some fantastic.
I'm going to get a drink, Nish.
So if you have any questions, please, type them in. We've got another kind of half an hour, 45 minutes with Sifu Stephen. So this is your opportunity. Please ask questions about his lineage of Tai Chi and anything that you've heard so far that you want more information on. Don't be shy. You can carry on because I can hear it.
Okay. So, as I said before, an old name for Tai Chi was soft boxing.
Yeah.
Boxing, also called 13 tactics. Some say postures. We say tactics, right? So, tactics can be used in various ways, whereas postures seem to be used only one way.
Yeah, and it seems more postures is more like this.
Yeah.
Like in a standing.
We don't have that.
Right.
What we have is tactics. We
I
have
like
tactics.
that. Yeah,
okay.
I like that.
So what you have what's called the 8. But for 8 methods of power.
Yep.
8 methods of power, which is pung. Some people call it expansion. Or we say it's upward diversion.
Interesting.
Upward diversion. Okay. So we have pung. We have lu, sideward diversion, but with smooth. So we're not blocking the arms. We're using smoothness. This is lu.
Right.
We have G, where you push back. That's what I've done through here. The 4th one is called An, which means to press downwards. We also have what's called spiral force. So the force comes in, we take it to the side and give it back to the person.
Oh, like a redirect. Yeah.
So a spiraling effect. Okay. We also have what's called Kai, which means to pluck. Root, out the ground. So if I sweep your foot or throw you, I'm uprooting from your stance.
Right.
So you get an uproot in there, So that means Kai. Right. I feel I've done 7, I think. So you've got pung upwards, lu sidewards, G straight forward, and press down. You've got Kai to pluck. Liao is spiraling force. And we also use what's called Zhou. Now, Zhou is used from the wrist to the elbow. We use Zhou, forearm, The other one is Kai. It means, most people say it means shoulder bash, use the shoulder. But Kao. People say it means use the shoulder, but it doesn't mean that. It means to lean. So when I was with my teacher, I was in China, we was going to Wudang Mountain. We was on a bus, a transport bus, taking us from the airport to the airplane. And he got double doors. And he said to me, that character there for Kao, is what we mean in Tai Chi. It means, it was saying, don't lean on the door. But it means to lean. So it's not the shoulder, it could be your hips, could be your side of your body. you're bashing in. It could be your elbow leaning.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't just mean shoulder, it means to lean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those eight powers, yeah, they're then mixed in with what we call the 5 directions: forward, back, left, right, and central equilibrium.
Right.
Center. So those 8 powers and the 5 directions make up the 13 tactics of Tai Chi.
Wow.
Yeah. So as an example, if someone's punching in, I can go to my right side and use blue version. I can go to the left version. I can step backwards and use sub diversion. I can go forwards and use sub diversion. I can stay centrally fixed and use sub diversion. I might not be able to step. There could be chairs in the way, but I stay centrally fixed. But I'm using that one power. Right. You've got powers that can be mixed in. So you've got pung, upward diversion, yeah? So if you're punching in, I can go forwards, under your arms, yeah, using pung going forwards, grab your legs, use a shoulder, cow, yeah, pull your leg, like a double C's legs, yeah? And that proves it. So I've used 3 powers there, going forwards.
Yeah, yeah.
So powers can be interlinked, yeah? So if you take pung and Lu, so Lu's a subward diversion, pung's upwards. You put Lu and together, it's a diagonal diversion.
Yeah.
They go into many, you know, there's many combinations.
Yeah.
1 with 5, 1 with 10, sorry, 1 with 8, 8 with 3, 8 with 4, going forwards, going back, going left, going right.
Yeah. It just becomes natural. You have to become versed in them, and it just becomes natural.
Exactly, yeah.
It's organic. You know, you're not going to calculate it and do it.
No. So again, it must have been the applications first, just like the hand form, yeah, like in your forms. We believe, right? The applications come first. It wasn't the forms. Someone didn't go right. Well, this movement, that movement in a form. Oh, how can we use it? Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah. No, it's the other way around.
Applications first, and they put it like a library of techniques.
Yes.
And it must have been that way. It could have been the other way around. Yeah. So it wasn't that someone looked at the 8 powers and the 5 directions and then said, okay, how can we use it? No, it must have been the other way around. They were doing the movements anyway. They then linked it to Torah's philosophy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the 13 tactics, and they're all interrelated. So my teacher would say, like, I would say, oh, what about this? And he'd go, you know it, but you don't know you know it. That's what they call an unknown known.
Yeah, that's it.
We're like, huh? But obviously, he would then explain to you.
I don't know about that.
And it makes sense at a later stage, yeah? So I think as well, what they're doing, what's happening with your teacher, right, or the teachers, they're like planting a seed. They put a little seed in, right? Doesn't make sense, right? And you keep practicing, and you're like germinating that seed, and it's growing. Doesn't make sense straight away. And I've had things myself, right? My teacher say something to me, and I'm like, oh, I can't quite know what he means. It might be a year later, or 5 years later, I go, light bulb moment, bang, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it's through that practicing that I was watering that seed that it started blooming and growing.
And then bears fruit.
Yeah.
That's what you're after, isn't it?
It's the way you've done it. It's the way you developed over the years. So eventually, with this art, and it's the same for your art as well, they talk about Taoism, the way as in nature, the planets, all that. But it's also about your own way. So my teacher would say, right, in Tai Chi, there's my way, your way, his way, her way, their way. You develop it yourself, yeah?
Yeah.
As an example, right? I watched a clip of Nish and Sifu Paul Whitrock the other day. He was doing some movements, yeah? And I think about 1 minute 15, Nish went, could I come down and do that? You went down lower. And you went, yeah, you can. That's your flavour. That's your way.
Yeah.
You develop it as you go along.
Yeah.
So that's what it means. It means it's not just about the way as in the stars and cosmology. It's about your way, my way, her way, their way.
Certainly, like, because body structures, people are wiry, people are tonk, you know, they're going to move differently, and there's going to be things they favour. Why try to dodge someone if you can smash right through them? You know,
exactly, exactly.
Your art, you know.
Yeah.
Just keep the essence, isn't it? It's the principle.
That's right. And what you've got, this actual way, this do they call it, or Tao, yeah? You've got it in karate do, kendo, judo, aikido.
Yeah.
Okay. And the character for that is, obviously you've got old characters and new characters, yeah? But the old character was like a U shape with a line through it, and there was 3 of them. And that meant footprints. Yeah.
No, that's interesting.
It's a road. Yeah, nowadays it's a road. If you look at the badge for Taoism, for the way, the bottom part is a road. Yeah, it used to be footprints, the old character.
Yeah.
So now it's like an L shape, like a road. Yeah. The middle character is a single eye. So someone that's focused. Yeah.
Right.
The top part of the character is your hair flying back. So it means you're walking fast down a road, focused on your art.
Right.
I've got to look up. I've got to look that up. That sounds.
Yeah, I love these breakdowns of the old characters and stuff.
Yeah.
There's
They mean so much. They mean so much.
There's so much to them, right?
Significance to them.
Uh-huh.
Wow. So within Tai Chi, they from, again, this is just from my personal reading, a little bit about principles, principles that give meaning to the way that you train. So such as sinking of the shoulders, relaxing of the whatever those things. Can you talk about some of the key ones for you? I mean, apart from all of them, but
Yeah. Okay, so a lot of people talk about in Tai Chi, they talk about sinking the chi to the dantian. Right, okay. Chi can mean many things to many people, right? It's a broad church, if you like, yeah? Okay. With us, we look at it, right? If you look at the actual character, and it's been spoken about in your previous Q&A, yeah? Okay. The bottom part of the character, it means rice. Yeah. The middle part is a cooking pot. The top part is steam or vapor.
Yeah.
So if you cook rice, you get vapor. You get a chemical change. It's happening in alchemy, yeah? Or if you practice Mantis or any other system, when you're practicing, you're taking in chi, air.
Yeah.
Hey in Cantonese, yeah?
Hey.
Right. They call it vital force, yeah? Right. So the three things we need is air, water, food. We can last without food for, I think it's 3 months, yeah? We can last without water for 3 days. Without air, 3 minutes. Get some deep sea divers can do like 8 or 9 minutes. Most people, 3 minutes and you're dead. Yes. So it's the vital force. Now, you breathe this air in through your training, yeah, this breath comes in, you are getting a chemical alchemy in your body. So your body is like a mini laboratory. It's like a chemistry set.
Yeah.
In the air, and it goes into the lungs, into the system. Okay. Now, they say sink the chi to the dantian, right? Well, the dantian is a point inch below the navel. They call it hara in Japanese martial arts, yeah? But if you cut someone open medically, do a biopsy, there's no dantian now. It's a notion. And the notion is, right, they say like maybe in opera singing, breathe to the belly. Yeah. Breathe to the stomach here to sink, right? Okay. But you don't put air into your stomach, right? You get a notion. So when you breathe in air, it goes into your lungs right now. What we don't want to do is expand the rib cage outwards because that becomes quite taxing on the system, yeah? Yeah. After, it's to sink the lungs downwards. So they accentuate downwards. They also got outwards as well, but you're taking in more lung capacity. Yeah. Now, by the lungs going downwards, your sternum, goes up and down. Yeah. Rises and falls, rises and falls, rises and falls. Your stomach must go somewhere. So your bowels go forward and back, forward and back.
And that's what they mean by deep breathing, right? Like breathing.
Exactly, deep breathing.
The bottom, use that whole lung capacity. Deep, breathe deep.
Yes. But you're not putting air into the stomach.
No.
Putting air into the lungs and it goes around, but the lungs will accentuate downwards, taking in more lung capacity. As the lungs come down, the bowels must go so the bowels go forward and back, forward and back. Sternum goes in and out, up and down. So now you're getting a massage of the body. So that's what it means internal. You know, for us, that's what chi means. It's nothing, no mystical power. It's about basic stuff. So you're doing, you do your Heigong, you're breathing in the air the same way. That's what we do, yeah? So that's a principle for us. So it's a notion that you're putting breath down now. So you rightly said, you're breathing from the stomach. What they say in opera or singers. Stomach, yeah? But the air goes into the lungs as it vacuums around the body. Yeah. Then you've got, red blood cells, white blood cells, hemoglobin. You've got, different chemicals in the body. Waste product through eating food, through drinking. So your body's like a mini chemistry set. Right? You've got alcohol within you. Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Roof of the mouth. This makes saliva.
We lost you a little bit there, Steve. We lost you a little bit there.
Oh, sorry.
Just
back now.
Yeah, we've got you now. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So the breathing is in through the nose and out through the nose. Yeah. Okay. We put the tongue, roof of the mouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
For a few reasons. The first one, if the mouth's open, you get hit, your jaw can break.
Yeah.
That's first. Secondly, if the mouth's open, I get hit, I might bite my tongue. Yeah. Thirdly, we're taking regular amounts of breath through the nose. If you breathe through the mouth, sometimes a big gulp, sometimes a small gulp, yeah, but through the nose is regulated, yeah? 1 second. So through the nose, it's regulated, yeah? Okay. The tongue makes saliva. So you swallow saliva, and it keeps the throat moist while training.
Yeah.
You breathe out of your mouth, some of your throat goes dry, yeah? Okay. The saliva acts as an antiseptic on the internal body. Yeah? It's got antiseptic properties to it.
Enzymes.
An animal in the wild, will cut itself and will lick its wound.
Yeah.
Got that antiseptic. Okay. So that's it. Also, through the nose, yeah, you've got the hairs in the nose will actually heat the air. So you can try this out. Yeah? You go on a cold day, breathe through your mouth, the cold into your lungs, yeah, and breathe through your nose. The nose acts as a heater.
Yeah, it goes through the passages, doesn't it? So it warms up.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. And the hairs in the nose filters out all the crap in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're breathing a regular amount of air, right? Also, everything we do in Tai Chi, the mouth is closed. There's no breathing out through the mouth. Even, and you can check this out yourself, yeah? Even when you sleep, you should be sleeping with your mouth closed.
You should be, but yeah,
right.
People don't.
Check it out. So you can check this out scientifically, yeah? Look at a thing called mouth breathing.
Yeah.
Right? And how mouth breathing deforms your mouth. And young children, if they breathe from an early age, they get, their jaw goes forward, the top jaw goes back.
Yeah.
You get a lot of deformities in the body.
Yeah. I was watching something on YouTube the other day about this, actually. There's Joe Rogan about it. It's massive difference.
Right, I've got a book about it. It's on Joe Rogan podcast. But this is backing up what we do anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
I lost it there, so I lost it.
Yeah. So, yeah, we just mentioned it was Joe Rogan. It was on Joe Rogan.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also about your mouth is closed, your nose gets nitrous oxide and goes in the body, and you're keeping the carbon dioxide in the body longer, oxygen longer. So and your nose is for that. Your nose is for breathing. Your mouth is for eating and drinking. But keeping the mouth closed, it calms the body more. So they've even got now people who actually take their mouth up to go to sleep. Now, I'm not suggesting you do that. Yeah. No. You can train it. It's better for the body. You get a better, deeper sleep as well.
Yeah.
Check all these facts out. Look into it, right?
No,
but if you look and check it out, there's scientific papers proving. There's a few books on it as well.
Yeah.
So breathing, they say it's based on the tortoise, the deer, and the crane, and these were animals that had longevity. And if you've got a tortoise, it's got a hard shell. It can't breathe out as it breathes downwards. So again, making them expand downwards and outwards. Yeah. So that's how breathing in Tai Chi. The whole time the mouth is closed. We don't breathe out for the mouth.
So you don't have that concept of accumulating chi from there, because you know the vital force is in there. You don't have a concept of that. I find that quite fascinating. To be fair.
Yeah. The thing is that they talk about this micro orbit, this sort of stuff that goes on. Yeah.
Yeah.
People breathing through their nose. They imagine going down to the dantian.
Yeah.
In the back of the anus, up the spine, over the head, and out.
Yeah.
And do it again and keep repeating it. Now, when Mr. Jin come over in 86, 87, he was reading a local newspaper, a Chinese newspaper, and there's cases of people that are doing this sort of stuff, and it sent them a bit of lead in the head because you're playing with your mind in it. So within our system, we don't do that. Other Tai Chi styles might do it, but we don't do that. We don't.
That's quite interesting. Yeah, I do find that quite interesting. Yeah.
It can have psychological effects on it. I mean, there's a story.
A lot of Qigong can if people are doing it wrong. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and also if you mix it as well.
Whatever you're doing, it has to be guided from people.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's exactly. So
I mean, there's a case of a story that was told by our Qigong Jin Jin Hong. One of his students was doing our system and started learning Qigong elsewhere. Yeah. And what he started doing was basically intermittently ejaculating. Couldn't stop himself. Every so often, ejaculate. Okay. couldn't stop it. So his wife was quite angry. She phoned up Mr. Jing, "Oh, we've been teaching my husband." He said, "Well, I've taught this stuff for many, many years and no one's had a problem about it. Are you doing something different in a different system?" And he sort of like sheepishly said, "Oh yeah, been training some other Qigong stuff." So he said, "Well, you better solve his problem." So what he did, he got the guy to stay at his house for like 3 or 4 days over a weekend. He got 7 students with him. All they'd done was push hands in for the whole 7 days. Push hands, push hands. He'd fall down, get him up, push hands. He'd go to sleep. When he woke up, straight away, push hands the whole time to not let him engage his brain, keep him occupied all the time. And he cured it. So you have to be careful what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's like drinking gin and drinking whiskey. Put them together.
Niche does that.
It's not quite a good combination, you know. So you have to be careful.
No, you don't want to be near him when he does that. No.
so they've got a saying. They've got a saying in Chinese, yeah, and it's walk fire, enter demon.
Yeah.
In path, and you get these things happen to you. So we don't personally. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but we don't do it within our. It's not within our system. We don't do that.
I do find that, yeah, like surprisingly. Wasn't expecting that, to be honest. So are there? Do you know if other systems of Tai Chi do it, or is that? You know,
again, they talk about microcosmic and macrocosmic breathing. So they might do it. We don't do it. They might.
Right.
Do
Okay.
it. But for us as well, it's good for health, yeah. But also, what's the other part of it? The other part is to condition the body. So Gong is training our body to withstand kicks and punches. Yeah. And the added benefit is good for the health as well. So it's got two.
Do you keep the tongue up?
Yeah, all the time. The tongue with the mouth. It makes saliva. Okay.
Yeah.
Some people that do acupuncture. I'm not into acupuncture. They say it links up to acupoints.
Yeah, it does. But basically, within the microcosmic orbits, it's fundamentally important because it makes the bridge of the circuit.
Yeah.
And
we don't do that. We don't do that at all.
No, but it will happen naturally. They say, even if you're not thinking about or doing it, it's a natural process. You don't have to do it. Often. Do you, with your stance or your body structure, do you tilt the sacrum forward or
no? Just relax the body all the time. Right. So the body's relaxed. So in our hand form, there's no rounded shoulders.
Right.
It's natural.
Yeah.
So we used to have, like, I've got a lot of friends that done Wing Chun.
Yeah.
Chun was quite popular down in my area, and they like sort of do their training and they come out and go in the pub after. They're still sort of like drinking their beer with their shoulders sort of still rounded round. They've been doing that stuff and they come out and they're like, well, shoulders.
Yeah, relax.
We don't have nothing. It's all natural. It's all natural.
Right.
There's no rounding. There's no tucking. It's all straight.
Yeah. With respect to
centrally fixed, yeah.
With respect to the fighting techniques within the form, are they separated and do they have separate names? So I'll give an example. So within Chaga Tonglong, you have like basic 36 sansao, 36 techniques, which would be like a chit jong, a chop, a gao chop, a gua chop, a backhand, a pop jong. So is that similar to the style?
Yeah. Okay. So we have 48 major techniques.
And
they can also be interlinked as well. So you could have grasping the burst out, which against a swinging punch. So styles like Chuan, Fat and Hung Da, roundhouse punches. We have that, and then we have what's called pat the horse high. Yeah. So they're two separate techniques, but you can then link them together. So pat the horse high can be against a straight punch. Grasp the burst out is a roundhouse punch, but then you can have grasp the burst out with a roundhouse punch and then go into a pat the horse high. So they can be. And then you got it with going forwards, going back, going left, going right, and central. So it's an endless number of combinations, really.
Right. And do you have a favourite technique? A favourite
technique? My teacher would say that we'd learned for many, many years. And he'd say, "Oh, there are no techniques." I mean, like, what do you mean techniques? He said, "There's mainly concepts."
Yeah.
But concepts, you need technique. To practice concepts, you've got to do techniques. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I dodged your question, yeah. My favourite technique, I don't know, probably grasp the burst out because against roundhouse punches, and a lot of people throw roundhouse punches in the street. Yeah. But I like all the techniques really. I like all of them.
And is there much in the way of like? Do you have is there much in the way of kicking? So do you do much in the way of a different?
Right, Yeah, so the theory, so with those 8 powers I spoke about earlier on, you can then do your legs as well. I think if you're kicking towards me, I can do a loop with my side of my foot and just brush your foot to the side.
Yes.
I can snare your foot and lift it up, which is pung, upward diversion. It's also kai to root. So what you do upstairs, you can do downstairs as well.
Right, got you.
It's the concept, isn't it?
Yeah. So we kick with the toes. Yeah. So most times you find you've got trainers on or shoes.
Yeah.
You don't have bare feet. So if we do have bare feet, we pull the toes back. Our kicking are with the toes. And you're kicking what we term vital points.
Yeah.
Testicles. Yeah. Testicles, rib cage. So we don't kick to the head. The only time we kick to the head, if I pull you down to the floor, then I kick your head. I wouldn't do a roundhouse kick to the head. It's all the way and below. So there is a saying, it's been said before, why kick to the head, we don't punch to the feet. That's not my saying, that's what's been said about by the Chinese martial arts in the past.
It's actually a good saying though, right? I mean,
I've heard it. It's like, yeah.
We also another one. So we also kick with 4 legs, not 2. So when we engage you, engage the bridge, I'm using your 2 legs, balance, raise my one leg, kick you up. So I'm using 4 legs if you like.
Yeah.
I'm not using my own 2 legs. I balance off you and kick you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the kicking is with the toes, the tips of the toes, heel with the foot, and obviously if we're in closer, we can use a shin, we can trap. So I spoke about Joel using the forearm from the wrist to the elbow, or from the cap to the shin bone, is also using that force, like a pressing.
Yeah.
So we come in trap and we push and snare.
Yes.
So
quite interesting again, the overlap. Once it
again, it's concepts.
How some of the things are so similar.
Yeah, and
I've been watching your Q&As. Yeah, I'm like, oh, we do that. We do that.
I know. I've been having the same thing.
Same thing.
I'm thinking that sounds familiar.
Yeah, exactly the same thing. Yeah.
Well, what I love,
Sorry,
what I've learned about your lineage of Tai Chi, which I really like, is in terms of how you're saying. Listen, we've got hitting, we've got the stage where we're doing the grappling, or we've got blocking, we've got throwing, and so you're covering all of those range from kind of long to medium to very close. With respect to the time that you spent in this art now, how has it developed for you in the later stages? What are you emphasizing on more now than you did before?
Still the same stuff. It's still the hand form, the pushing hands, the self-defense, applications, the weapons, the Gung. Thing is, what I find with Tai Chi, it's not my living. I don't teach it for a living, so I haven't got to change it. Yeah. I mean, I could have. I mean, in this area, Essex is well known for another method of Tai Chi. And at one time, you go in there, you learn for 6 months, and then go away and teach. A bit like pyramid setting, but they haven't got a depth to their art. But it's all for the old ladies and old men, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but it's not what I meant. I want to teach the traditional, all aspects of it. So for us, it's a holistic martial art. It's very good for health, but it's a martial art as well. So it covers all bases, But if you only practice the health side of it, then you can't defend yourself, So a good example that throughout training, I've been with my teacher 30 odd years, and where people come and go, and I say, well, how comes you went? And one might have gone down one system and done another. Why did you go? I said, well, I was looking for something, and we looked elsewhere, but we found out that it was actually in this system we've been doing all the time.
Yeah.
Another guy summed it up really good. He said, well, for me, and it makes sense. He said, this Tai Chi, he said, some arts are like a starter and a main course. Another art is like a main course and an afters. But this Tai Chi is like a Chinese banquet, Chinese buffet.
Nice one.
I mean, what you want rather than with the main course.
Yeah.
So that made a lot of sense to me. So it is already here,
Yeah.
Do you does Tai Chi do much in the way of using training devices or apparatus? Like, do you train with like any kind of heavy weights or anything to train grip strength or?
Right. One of the Gung is actual training. It's called Tiger Claw. Train the Tiger Claw. Yeah. So you twist to train the fingers. Yeah. Okay. We also have, so it's been told me it's linked to, or it's likened to Peking opera, Beijing opera. Mm-hmm. So they walk on their hands, yeah? So we do handstands against the wall, yeah? They would do tumbling. They would tumble across the stage, yeah? We don't do tumbling, we do rolls.
Nice.
We roll from one mat to another, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, yeah? We try and get, we do 2 minutes of it, yeah? That trains conditioning, it trains the legs, you're crunched up as well, it trains your balance as well, yeah? And determination. So we train those two things. The other part linked to Beijing opera is they would do juggling. Well, in our sword form, we exchange from one hand to the other. So you could say as a kind of juggling. Yeah. We also punch with small hand weights. Yeah?
Okay.
So we punch small hand weights. So traditionally, they didn't have hand weights as we have now. But what they would do, they'd pick up small rocks.
Yeah.
Small rocks, yeah. Now, this is also training your gripping sensation, yeah. You keep punching, the rock, heavy weight of them will train your hands, yeah. Okay. And what it did as well, we punched for 20 minutes, yeah. You do something like 3,800 punches, yeah. Okay. So the guys that are going they're doing the full contact side of it, they would do it every single day, yeah. Okay. And what that trains, it trains your grip, yeah. But also, if you've got gloves on, if you're doing like 2 or 3 rounds, because they used to fight 3 rounds, yeah. Round, third round, your arms become a bit more tired.
Yeah.
So your guard drops, yeah. You get hit in the face. So by doing punching with the weight, you make you keep the hands up, yeah. It also trains penetration. It also trains your wrist joints from doing the handstand. So that's the only thing we use externally. And also we've got a
bit of endurance as well, isn't it?
Endurance, yeah. Conditioning. Again, conditioning. We also train with a long, heavy pole. They call them Chuan poles, but they're
so not much in the way of like dummies or sandbags and things like that.
No, we do it with punch bags and that. Yeah, we can punch. We also use pad work as well.
Okay, so, cool.
Traditionally, there was no. We do a thing called running fun down. Again, trains conditioning. It trains explosive power. We do it in a circle, but there was no getting back. I asked my teacher what did they use in the olden days, and so they would get a stick and then put clay and leaves around it, sort of bake it as a pad, and they start punching the clay and the mud. So they improvised doing things that way, and then obviously they pick up the rocks. So they didn't have like hand weights.
So, you represented your style and your Sifu in a full contact. Was that a
full contact? Yeah, I'm pushing hands.
Can you talk a little bit about that? So, how did that come about, and where was it? And
okay, yeah. So it wasn't really organised well, but and a lot of politics went on as well. You had the BCCMA and you had the Koshu Federation. And they were like up and coming Chinese federations, probably in Sanshao or Sandar. So my teacher put us in for the competitions and that. He also, every year, he'd done a competition at Oxford. He did a thing a long time ago. It was called the first Festival of Chinese Martial Arts. He brought Sifu Whitworth along, he brought Sifu Sam Kwok. It's a 2-day thing. You do demonstrations on one day and you do a master class with a teacher, and then you could do, next day was a competition. So he started organising a competition. So the push hand side of it was more wrestling. So what they would do, they have a platform. It would be like 2 meters long and 1 meter wide. It was raised up, say, about 1 foot off the floor. You wrestle, you can do sweeping, throwing, locking techniques on the actual platform.
They're like spikes on the side and that.
Bamboo.
Well, you say that. Traditionally, that's what I heard it was like. They put like bamboo spike around it.
That's it, yeah.
That's what that was supposed to. How true is I don't know, but it was on a raised platform.
Yeah.
So they called it lead tie as well. They've done a big massive platform.
Yeah, lead tie. It's there is one version of it still, isn't there?
Exactly, but they do it lower. So when my teacher fought in Malaysia, it was a 6 foot high platform with no rope around it.
Yeah.
They off it, and when they landed, they ended up breaking their legs because they fell 6 foot high. So
brutal.
They brought it down lower, so it wasn't that danger part was taken out of it.
Just get a sprain.
Sorry?
Just get a sprain instead of a break.
yeah. So we took part in a full contact. We fought against different styles and that. A couple of guys, 2 of the guys went over and done a bit of cage fighting, but I was a lot older than by then. But so I did a few fights and that, and done push. I took part in competitions in Taiwan, in China, and America, which I represented Great Britain. But again, there's a lot of political stuff going on now. So I took part in it now. My fighting career stopped after my teacher just made a comment to me one day. He said, you know why young men fight? And I said, no, why? He said, because they're stupid. I'm like, oh, so I must be stupid, so I'll give it up. You know what I mean? And then I've got a family, children, wife, and so. You know,
cool.
Yeah.
Things
How
change.
was that? What was the experience like in Taiwan and China and?
Yeah. Okay. So in the first one was in Taiwan. We took a team out, a British team out. There was 3 from my teacher school. And there's about 7 or 8 from you might know a guy, a Sifu called Nigel Sutton.
I do know the name. Yeah.
He does Tai Chi. He's now based in Malaysia, but he does a lot of Chinese martial arts. So there's our team and their team. We went out to Taiwan to represent Great Britain. And when we got out there was 2 guys from another faction from Britain, had no students, but they tried to stop us from competing. But well, hold on, we're coming out with Peller's money out. We want to take part in competition. Because we weren't part of their association, they tried to stop us, which I thought was a bit too much.
Politics, hey?
Politics, yeah. But luckily, Nigel's Sifu had contacts out there, and they let us take part in the competition.
Oh.
But we took part in it. The Taiwanese team, they got weighed in a week before us, right? So we got weighed in the day before, so you could put a stone on it over a week easy, yeah?
Yeah.
They changed the rules about 3 or 4 times, right? And they were the biggest bunch of cheaters going. But never mind, it is what it is, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I took 3rd place out there. I got beat by a Taiwanese guy, but he didn't beat me. The judges gave it to him. They said he moved me, but he didn't. But never mind, that's history, yeah?
Yeah.
By the government, and they have to have so many people from Taiwan win medals. So it's some bias going on. So politics and cultural stuff, it's... Yes. And
Was that so did you do a mix of kind of like the push hand stuff and then the full contact as well?
And that was push hands, and then other time I was playing full contact out in Spain and over in this country. The last full contact competition I did was up in Nathan. I think it was run by the BCMA. It wasn't that. I didn't think it was run that well. It was a working man's club, right? So not really, fans of martial arts. It was like knock his effing head off.
Yeah.
Poke his eyes out, and I'm like, hold on. Nuts off here trying to train throughout the last couple of months with work elsewhere, right? And now I'm going to a working man's club. I've got people saying, knock his head off, and all that. And then we got our stuff and come out. I had they give me a foam Taekwondo head guard, and the guy had a pot of full head Lonsdale head guard. I was like, oh, this can't be fair, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I won that fight, and then after that, my teacher made a comment about why young men fight, because they're stupid. And after that, I thought, you know what?
Yeah, I'm done with it.
I've done with it.
The youngsters. Where's the youngsters? Let's train them up.
That's right. Yeah.
So, we're coming up to that 2-hour mark, and it's been fantastic. I've learned so much about.
Great, Steve. Yeah, really.
Thanks,
I've learned a lot as well.
Good, and we don't have any questions on the group and that. But is there anything you kind of want to share, or any other things you wanted to talk about?
I must say, you guys have done a fantastic job doing this. It's really, I've enjoyed it the last.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
What I would say, what I find really good, intriguing, happened at my teacher's class, and I've seen your classes elsewhere, how these martial arts, right, can bring people from all creeds, colours, nations, from all religious denominations under one banner and train side by side.
Yeah.
In my teacher's school, right, we had Christians from both sides of the divide. Yeah, training side by side. We had Muslims, Hindus, guys from Africa, West Indians, Australians, all together. And it's fantastic. It's really good.
We were talking about this again, I think it was today, about the camaraderie that develops with true martial artists. You know, when you've got that passion, and you realise that all the bickering and all the nonsense it's just worthless. And the root of a lot of that is often a bit of money. Or people's kind of
ego.
Those things.
As well, it's like you say, you guys, I've seen, you talk to people, I've got the same thing. I've met people from all over the world.
Yeah, totally.
Stay at my house. Yeah, you can stay at my house. And the same thing, come to my house. Stay at my house.
Done the same from people.
Exactly.
Around, quite literally from around the other side of the world.
It's fantastic stuff. Brilliant stuff.
This is what we're about, bridge building, that community building. and not just in our own little sects, which is how it's been. We kind of started years ago trying to reach out to other Mantis groups, and then, recently we've just realised it's Molam Yakga, martial community is just one family.
Definitely.
One family, and that's
I much, like I've said before, I'd much rather go out and like we've done before, have a meal, a nice cup of tea and a chat, rather than have enmity between me and people I don't even know.
That's
They've got the same passion. They've got the same passion I have for what they do.
And it's just like you said. It's just like you said, Steve. Like you're hearing these other talks from different martial arts, but then you're like, oh, we do that, or actually, principle, or we're not that different, really. It's like
my teacher would say as well. My teacher would say, like attracts like.
Yeah.
That's an important thing.
So I just realised I did miss a question, and if you're fine, so what is the main difference between Wu and Yang style?
What is the main difference?
Yeah.
I've not done Yang style, so I couldn't.
Brilliant answer.
I mean, the forms are pretty similar.
Right. Are they?
Yeah, the forms are similar.
There is an overlap, and isn't grass the sparrow's tail and
we've got brusty, twist step, stroking the loop, all those names of Yang style as well.
And I imagine that a lot of Tai Chi would still have the same concepts, principles, and things that you should be doing whilst you're performing the art. So
they should have it. They should have it.
Brilliant.
If not, come to me and I'll teach it to you.
Actually, So when we place this,
we want to do some visits.
Yeah, when we place this, we'll put your details. If you've got a website, if you've got an email, or whatever you want to, we'll share.
Okay.
Website.
Yeah.
Cheers.
We'll put it on there. Just let people. We'll make sure people are able to find you.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
And I mean, again, from our side, thank you so much.
Thanks very much. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Great.
Thanks.
Taking this at short notice as well, and just.
That's all right. No problem at all.
Brilliant.
Cheers, guys.
Nice one, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
We've stopped going live now.